Imagine, if you will, a land stretching out to meet the sky, a sea of grass, rippling under an endless blue canvas. Here, the wind speaks in hushed tones, carrying stories older than any written word. This is the American prairie, a place of immense scale, of quiet power, and for countless ages it was the kingdom of a true giant. A creature not of myth but of flesh and bone, whose presence was as fundamental as the sun and the soil. We call it the American bison, but its story is something much deeper, much grander. Before the pyramids, the ancestors of the bison crossed a bridge of land and ice from Asia. This was a land of giants. The bison was not the largest creature nor the most fearsome, but it was perhaps the most adaptable. It was a survivor from its very first breath on this new continent. They were called Bison antiquus, a larger, more formidable version of the animal we know today. They moved with the seasons, their great migrations a slow, unstoppable rhythm. The bison's relationship with the land was a masterpiece of natural engineering. They were the ultimate ecosystem managers. By feasting on the grasses, they encouraged new growth, creating a mosaic of habitats. This variety allowed hundreds of different plant species to thrive, which in turn supported insects and birds. Their immense weight and sharp hooves aerated the soil and helped bury seeds where they could germinate. In spring, their shed wool became nest material for birds. When the rains came, depressions filled and became temporary wetlands, oases for life. They were, in every sense, a keystone species. For the indigenous peoples of the plains, the bison was not just an animal. The relationship between the people and the buffalo was one of profound respect and deep spiritual connection. Every part of the bison was used. Nothing was ever wasted. Bones became tools, sinew became thread, hides became shelter and clothing. Hunters would offer prayers and perform ceremonies, giving thanks for the sacrifice. The buffalo was a teacher. Its stories were told around the fire. Its presence was woven into their culture, their ceremonies, and their daily existence. The white buffalo was a powerful symbol of hope and renewal. And then, everything changed. The 19th century brought westward expansion. Settlers, soldiers, market hunters. The railroad sliced through the heart of the buffalo's domain. Hunters killed by the thousands, often leaving carcasses to rot. This campaign of destruction was also part of a strategy of war. To control the people, they had to eliminate their source of life. From an estimated 60 million to fewer than 1,000 by the late 1800s. The thunder of hooves was replaced by the thunder of guns, and a great silence began to fall. Imagine the silence. The ecosystem, deprived of its keystone, began to unravel. A few frightened, lonely handfuls of survivors remained. A small, isolated group found refuge in Yellowstone's remote valleys. A few ranchers hid survivors on private lands. The thunder had faded to a whisper, and extinction seemed inevitable. The fate of the bison rested on the shoulders of a very small number of people. Their actions would become the seeds of one of the greatest conservation stories in history. From the brink of nothingness, a rescue began. People like Charles Goodnight captured calves and started private herds. Walking Coyote brought calves to the Flathead Reservation, seeds for the National Bison Range. In 1905, the American Bison Society formed to save the species. Places like Wichita Mountains and the National Bison Range became arcs of survival. Tribes and groups like the Intertribal Buffalo Council have worked to re-establish herds on tribal lands. Their efforts reconnect people to the animal at the center of their spiritual and physical lives. These modern keepers ensure the bison is a living part of communities once more. Today, the bison's story is one of remarkable recovery. From fewer than 1,000 to over 500,000 across North America. Most live on private ranches. Around 30,000 live in conservation herds on public and tribal lands. While numbers are secure from immediate extinction, they are in many places ecologically extinct. Organizations like American Prairie are stitching together lands to create a modern Serengeti with bison at its center. Efforts to restore habitat and reconnect landscapes are underway. When you see a bison today, you are witnessing a miracle of conservation. Its return reminds us that even when we have done our worst, it is not always too late to do our best. The story of the American bison is, in the end, a story of hope. We can undo some of the damage we've caused. Imagine a rolling sea of grass with a dark, moving river of life. Will you be part of the destruction, or part of the healing? It depends on our willingness to continue the work of those who came before. What story should we explore next? Is there another animal you'd like to hear about? Tell us in the comments. If this moved you, please like this video and share it with others. And subscribe for more journeys into the wild heart of our planet. Thanks for staying with us. Be sure to watch until the end and tell us which animal you want next.